Hi, it's Owen from the Mind Body Project. Welcome back. Thanks for following and commenting. I've been looking at all your posts and all your lovely messages. Hope you enjoyed the 10 top problems regarding depression and what to do about it. And also the empowerment part, which I had to get out there because I needed to make sure that people were on the cause side of the equation rather than the effect side of the equation. So that's the way you're going to turn your life around in these positions when it comes to depression and anxiety and phobias. If you're on the effect side of the equation, you are giving your power to somebody else. If you're on the cause side of the equation, you then have some decisions to make and you can actually turn your life around. So what we're going to do now is talk about the top 10 problems for anxiety and what to do about them. So let's have a little look then. So the first one is, so let's just talk about what anxiety is here. So anxiety is a learned behavior. It's not, remember what I said, the cause, if you're going to say the effect side of the equation and it's something magical force that happens to me, then you're going to have a massive issue with actually doing anything about it and getting out of that situation. Because I do watch the groups and do watch what people are saying, especially with depression and anxiety. My anxiety is playing up, and this isn't to have a go at people, because what you've got to understand is that people are trying to make anxiety who they are as a person. They're trying to make it who they are as a person. It's not who you are as a person. So I'm not attacking you. What I'm saying is that anxiety is a behavior that you do. Yeah? So whoever you label yourself as, you're more than that. Yeah? So who are you that's more than that? You're not, it's not a part of who you are. And if you see it that way, then it's going to be extremely hard to change it, because it's a very high logical level. Yeah? It's easier to change a behavior than who you are. So the first thing you have to do is say, okay, anxiety is not who I am, it's what I do. I do behaviors that actually get me this effect. And we're going to talk about that through this series. So anxiety is a learned behavior. Yeah, that's what it is. That's what it really is. And once you accept that, then you can change your behaviors pretty easily. Yeah, that's the way around this. So the first thing then, number one, so top 10 problems with anxiety is poor physical health. Now, looking at these groups and researching people with anxiety, one of the things that I see a lot of people talking about is their medication. And I'm stunned by the amount of drugs that are given out to people with anxiety. I really am. And majority of people have issues with the medication because of the side effects. I don't get it. I don't understand what's going on there. And the problem is, for me, is that you're seeing people who are not trained to deal with that, and they're trained to give you drugs. So if you go to a GP and talk about anxiety, then they're trained to give you drugs. They go, oh, okay, anxiety will give you this drug. Yeah. Now, if you go to the NHS website, these drugs do not get rid of the problem. It even says on the website, do not get rid of the problem. They treat symptoms, but they don't do the cause. You want something that deals with the cause, or otherwise you're going to have those drugs for the rest of your life. And that is why, if you're having the side effects, it's going to cause you poor physical health issues. Yeah, I mean, a lot of these drugs, if you just did some physical activity, it basically do more than the drugs. So I'm shocked that the things that are actually healthy for you, and the things that, like for example, the physical activity, they will actually deal with what the issue is anyway. And here's a little trick for you, actually, if you do the physical activity, because one of the things let's say if I had an issue one day, struggling with something, what I would do is I would go into the gym and I would go and train, but I would think about that specific issue. I'd think about that thing that's causing me an issue whilst I'm doing the reps. Because what happens then is I'm breaking this pattern. Now this is a triad of anxiety. Yep, so you've got your physiology, you've got your focus, which we may talk about in a bit, and you've got your language patterns. So if I go in, and because if I asked you to stand there and said, all right, get anxious, or if I put you in a situation where you said that you got anxious, you'd have to do something specifically with your body, which I would then watch. And once that's done, then I'll know that if all I have to do to break that pattern, the physiological pattern, is do something else, get you to do a dance or something. When you're in a anxious state, you're going to be working certain areas of the brain. You can look at that transcranial magnetic stimulation. So you can look at where your side of your brain is working. But if I start doing elbow to opposite knee, this is why exercise is good, or running is good, or cross train is good. Anything that involves sort of like balance, then, or juggling, then you can't get into an anxious state. You can't get it. While you're doing that, you can't be anxious at the same time. Or dancing, something like that. Yeah, you just can't be, because your state, your physiology is going to be different. Now, if you're dancing, then your focus is going to be different as well. And if you're in the gym, then your focus is going to be different as well, because you're going to be doing something else. Yeah, whilst you're doing that, this is why it's good to build up and do something continuously for about 30 minutes. If you're going to do cross training for 30 minutes, you have to be thinking about something else. So that is the reason why I'm stunned that people are just given drugs when they know that these don't work long term. They just treat symptoms. That's not what you want. Because then you're just going to be stuck on, you're going to need another medication to get rid of the side effects of that medication. And then that causes side effects. So you're just like, you're going to be sitting there with 20 pills. And probably a lot of you are right now. And you know that this doesn't work. Now, if it worked, it would have worked within a month if you take a pill. Yeah. So these things are treating symptoms, not the cause. So it's a behavioural thing. It's not a magical thing that's come to you. And that is why, if you're sitting there taking pills and not doing any physical activity, not doing anything with your food, not doing anything with water content, which we may come on to, then you're going to have poor physical health. Now, when you have the poor physical health, because it's a mind-body connection, then it's going to cause dis-ease. So then you have multiple issues. So this is a path that you don't really want to go down, because, and I'm surprised. The problem is, if you go to go and look at GP, get your phone out right now, look up a GP course, general practitioner course in the UK, and see what modules they have. Just look at the modules, what they are taught. And all it is to give you drugs. Nothing on physical activity. I saw a little bit on nutrition, which is average of 9 hours the whole time on nutrition. I didn't see anything on physical activity. Mental health, you won't see hardly anything on there. They're just trained to give you drugs. So that's all they're going to do. And drugs are not designed to be in the body long term. Yeah. That's why they kill so many people. Yeah, unfortunately. So, yeah. So the first thing you need to do, so what to do with that? So what you need to do is, like, as soon as you can, you need to start coming off those with the help, if you can, get a functional medicine doctor. Because he will understand the drugs and the mindfulness, meditation, healthy eating, physical activity. They will be able to do both of those things. Whereas a GP will only be able to just, here's some drugs, or refer you on to people like me. So you need to see one of those guys, and then you need to start using what I call alpha state exercises. So alpha state exercises is mindfulness, NLP. The new code games that I do are fantastic for anxiety because you have to use different hemispheres of the brain to actually get in a high performance state. It overcomes the anxiety state pretty quickly. So those are the type of things you need to be learning and doing, and you have to take control of this. It's up to you now, because you can either keep doing what you're doing and get the same results, or you can do something different. These things that I do work. Yeah, they work very well. The functional medicine doctors are on it at the moment now as well. So just go and look up some stuff. You can look at some of the videos I do with working with people, or you can look at some of the new stuff, especially on the Facebook page, where I post a load of free courses and things, free events, online events, where they'll tell you what to do with it. But that is, so yeah, Paul, you have to get off the drugs as soon as possible, because, as I said, they're not going to, long term, they're not going to get rid of the issue. Stop taking the drugs, you'll still have exactly the same issues. Yeah, but it's up to you. If you're happy with that, then keep doing it. Obviously, you want to speak to your doctor regarding if you want to come off. As I said, I'm not medically trained, so speak to your doctor about that, because I don't know what damage is actually caused now. But yeah, you need to start coming off that. Or start exercising and doing stuff first, and then come off the drugs. Yeah, so that's what to do with poor physical health.